Hello everyone. I'm going to be showing you how to use the CoolCalifornia.org greenhouse gas calculator for households and individuals. So to start out, if you're on the SOCAN.eco webpage, I am at SOCAN.eco/footprint/. And what I'm going to do on this website is I'm going to click on this link here to the CoolCalifornia.org calculator, and it's going to take me to the website here. All right, so you're going to need a number of things to complete this calculator, and I'm just going to walk through each thing as we get to each section. So you'll notice up at the top there's a number of different sections. The first one is called Get Started, and then there's a travel section, a home section, food, shopping, and then there's a take action section that you can do last. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to put in your zip code. So I'm going to put in 520 as an example here for Ashland, Oregon. And how many people live in your household? I'm going to say 2 here. And what is your gross annual household income? So you're going to want to take your household income. That means your income for all of the people that are making an income in your house. So for example, I'm just going to move this over to 50,000. So what happened over here, you might notice that these bars over here in this graph moved when I started adjusting these things. So this number up at the top, this 41, this is your tons of CO2 equivalent, so CO2 and other greenhouse gases that you emit each year because of your different lifestyle choices that you have here. So based on where I lived, I said I lived in Ashland. There were 2 people living in my house. We make $50,000 a year. It said that the average, based on this information alone, is 41 tons of CO2 equivalent each year. So you'll notice that these percentages down here are all 0%. So I'm just compared to households with the same size and income in Ashland, Oregon. So what you're going to do now is you're going to start going through each of these sections, and you're going to be refining this number up here to better reflect your actual lifestyle. So I'm going to go ahead and click over to the next one, which is travel. So for travel, how do you get around? Starting with your vehicles. So if you have a vehicle, you can change the way that your vehicle is powered. So we have gasoline, diesel, electric here. And for example, I'm just going to do gasoline right here. I'm going to say then you have your miles, average miles per year that you drive. I'm just going to put 11,000 here as an example. Then you can adjust, you can use this bar here to adjust your miles per gallon that your car gets. So I'll say I don't know, let's say, for example, about 22 miles per gallon. Now, if you have more than one vehicle, you can click this plus button up here, add. So now it adds a second vehicle. So let's say maybe my second vehicle is like a diesel truck. And maybe I drive this one, let's say 10,000 miles per year. And let's say maybe my diesel truck gets about 30 miles per gallon. All right, so you'll see as I'm doing this, it's refining my numbers over here in this graph. And it's now telling me that I maybe drive too much in my imaginary vehicle. And you know, it looks like I actually already had to here. So I'm just going to put, if you do end up let's see, I ended up with an extra car here I didn't mean to do. So I'm going to X this out. So if you do end up doing what I just did, where you ended up with too many vehicles, you can use this little X to cross out the vehicles that you do not actually own. All right, and then for the next two parts here, you've got public transit and you have air travel. So you have an option to do a simple or an advanced option. So with the simple, public transit is really broad. You can just put in the number of miles per year. This would include bus, train, any other method of public transit. And then you have air travel here. And again, this doesn't really reflect the number of different flights that you have that are different miles. So you might want to do advanced here. I'm going to do this as an example. Let's say for the bus, maybe I go about 100 miles per year. Transit rail, I don't really have a lot of access to transit rail here. Commuter rail, let's just put 0 here for this example. Intercity rail, not so much down in Southern Oregon here. All right, and then this air travel here. See, it has these numbers that are gray, which just means that this was, again, from that average when we started at the beginning and we put in our zip code and just said, oh, that person who makes that much money probably does 3 of these short flights a year or something. So that's what these numbers come from. So if you don't readjust these, they might be impacting your numbers. So it's good to check what was in here from those averages. So let's just say maybe I do this about 4 times a year. So this just counts like think of this as a one-way, all of these are one-way flights. So if you're traveling somewhere that's less than 400 miles, let's say you're going to, oh, I don't know, maybe you're flying to Eugene or something. So um, if you do that a couple times a year, round trip, instead of 2 flights, you'd want to put 4 there and back twice. So make sure that you do that. Let's say I do this a couple times a year. Maybe I do one long one. Once a year, I do a long flight, 1,500 to 3,000 miles. So I'll again make that round trip, just like I did here. And yeah, that's what I'm gonna put here, and I'm at 0 for this one, let's say. So then you want to hit the next button. Okay, so now that we've done our first section here where we put in our personal information, now you can look at this, and this is actually this travel bar here actually reflects the numbers that I put in. All of these are still, see, it says 0%, so these are still just your average based on where you live and what your income is. So we're starting to refine this here. And the way that you can look at how many tons of CO2 equivalent for each of these categories here. So for car fuel, see how I'm hovering over that? I hope that comes up in the recording here. As I hover over it, a little thing pops up that tells me it's 9.88 tons of CO2 is emitted due to my car fuel. So, and then my miles per gallon, and then it does the same for air travel. So again, this number up here, this 41, is counting for everything here. It's counting for all of my travel, home, food, goods, and services. So if you wanted to know, okay, what is just my travel? What are my emissions from just my travel? You would need to actually sit down and add these up. You need to add up what pops up for just car fuel, cars, miles, per gallon, and your air travel there. So if you added all of those up, that would equal your travel emissions. All right, so the next one here is at home. So you're going to need an electric bill Also, if you use natural gas in your home or other fuels, you're going to need to have some bills in front of you. You might want to, if you have some time, you might want to try to take an average over the year. And then you've got a couple options here in how you report these numbers. So you can, for electricity, you can either put in how much you pay per year or per month, or you could do your kilowatt hours here per year or per month. So let's just say my electrical bill is $100 per month. Okay, and then you have, oh, it changed that for me. So that made my number pretty bad over here. All right, so $100 a month. And percent purchase from a clean energy program. So if you, through your electrical company, if you purchase any clean energy from them, you can use this bar here to put in what percentage of that of your bill goes into that. So let's say, I don't know, let's say 20% of my bill goes into a clean energy program. Great. All right, natural gas. So again, you have these options of ways to report how how you pay for your natural gas, or how you would like to report it in this calculator, whatever's easier for you. And again, years or months. So let's say maybe you don't have natural gas, which I actually don't. So I'm going to say I would put 0 here, or whatever number applies to your situation. All right, heating oil and other fuels, I'm personally going to put 0 here. Again, you've got different options for how you can report them, so make sure you're clicking the right things and you're reading your bill correctly there. And then, all right, then your living space, let's say that I have a 1,500 square foot place that I live. And then this water usage, it is just so you can, if you ever have any questions about these things, then you can click on these little question marks here. So this one is kind of helpful. It gives you a little bit of information about what an average household water consumption looks like for based on how many people are in your house. So I said I lived in there's 2 people in my house, so average, I guess, is about 242 liters per day. So this one isn't going to be super exact, but you can just kind of try to gauge, maybe, do you think that you are average with similar households based on the number of people that live there? Are you, but you think you're above average? Maybe if you water a really big lawn or something, you might be above average. Or maybe you're a little bit below average. So this one isn't really going to be the most exact thing here, but let's just say, I'm just going to say average for today, but whatever works for you is what you could put in there. So now you look at your home here, your home bar, and again, so there's different numbers that are associated with different pieces here that you put in. So your electricity, your water, and your construction. So if you wanted to know just what your emissions were for your home, just add these up. So I would add, it says 5.94 tons, 1.29 tons, and 1.4 tons. You can also use this y-axis up here to estimate it as well, but if you want to get really exact, you can add up the numbers. All right, I'm going to go ahead and click next, and it's going to take me to the food section. So again, here you have an opportunity to do a simple or an advanced option here. So for the purposes of this video, I think it's going to take me a little bit less time just to do the simple, but it works exactly the same. The advanced just asks a little bit more specific questions about specific food items and different ways to categorize different foods. So I'm just going to do the simple today. So here, see the simple lumps in meat, fish, and eggs all in one thing, and it's more broken up. So you got beef, lamb, veal, fish, seafood. So again, the advanced, if you take the time to do the advanced, it will be more accurate to your lifestyle. All right, so let's see, meat, fish, and eggs. I'm gonna say, oh, I don't know, maybe a little below average. Grains and baked goods. I do like some bread. Maybe I'll say I'm a little bit above average. I'm not sure. All right, dairy. Again, you can, so daily servings per person. Let's see if it tells us a little bit more about that on here. All right, for example, if 3 people eat a total of 6 servings per day, enter 2 servings per person. And then it looks like here, let me see if this takes us to a new tab here. Suggested servings. So if you really want to dig into this and take time, this is a great resource for helping you figure out what exactly is a serving and how many servings a day of each different food type is recommended. So that might be really helpful if you're not quite sure. But again, for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to kind of move these numbers around. But once you sit down, you probably want to spend a little bit more time and make sure that these are accurate for you and your household. Alrighty, I'm going to hit the next button, and that's going to take us into this last section where we're putting in our info here. And that is for shopping. So shopping is broken into goods and services. And again, you have an opportunity to say simple or advanced. So simple is you just kind of think about goods. So how much you spend per month on goods and services. So you can look at maybe some of your credit card bills, or you can just kind of do your best to think about what those numbers probably are, get like an average. Again, you can kind of use this average based on your household size and income to help you, and you can use these bars to move that around to roughly the right number, or you can do the advanced option, and this breaks it down into, and this also helps you to realize, what kinds of things are going into goods versus what kinds of things are going into services. So just to go through these really quick, and again, these are just the average numbers that it put in for me. So I might just leave in these averages for myself today. Maybe I'll finish a couple, I'll change a few numbers just so that we get a little bit of a change on our graph. But so furniture and appliances, you've got clothing, entertainment, paper, office, reading, personal care, cleaning, auto parts, medical. So this is medical goods, so prescriptions, medical equipment, any kind of things like that that you need. And then you've got services here. So again, I think medical, yeah, medical is here again. So this would actually be your doctor visits, your services. And then you have healthcare, so your healthcare premiums you can put here. Vehicle service, information, communication. One thing that a lot of people are kind of look at this and they're like, why is this on here? So it says organizations and charity. And again, these are all broken up by dollars per month. So make sure that you're looking at that correctly. So with your organizations and charity, if you make donations to nonprofits or other groups, it does technically, there is a carbon footprint associated with that, because when you give money and they're going to do something with that money, and usually there's some kind of carbon footprint involved with that. However, it doesn't really discern between different kinds of organizations. Maybe you give to organizations that plant trees or something. Um, and although they probably need a truck to get to the place that they're gonna plant those trees, it is kind of hard to uh, discern between different types of organizations here. So you can actually make the decision if you don't really want, if you want to see what your footprint is without this organizations and charity, you can zero this out. You don't have to put in the number, but you can also put in the number and just kind of play with it and see what happens to your footprint calculator. Maybe let's see if I did like $1,000 a month or something. It did make an impact, so I'm at 41 here. Yeah, so you can make that decision for yourself if you'd like to have your organizations and charity on here or not. Or again, you can just do this simple here and you don't need to break out the individual numbers. All right, so let's say I'm all done. I put in all of my information. I'm going to hit the next button one more time. And now I'm in the fun part of the calculator. I'm in the take action section. So again, over here, so based on all of the information that I put in for myself and my household, it's telling me that I have a yearly carbon or greenhouse gas footprint of 36 tons of CO2 equivalent each year. And it tells me that I'm 14% better than average, which again is just compared to households with the same size and income in Ashland. So I can again look at all of these and kind of see, like, you can tell that my travel is a really big part of my carbon footprint here, which I am not surprised by. So this is the fun part here. So now you can go through and you can look at all of these different proposed actions that you can take. And there's kind of really big actions up here, or there's, a little smaller. You can use rechargeable batteries or something. So there's kind of something on here for everybody. So let's say, so you can get a little bit more information about each one by hitting these little down arrows. And what you do here is you can make a pledge. So let's say I will trade in, again, I put in information for 2 vehicles. So I had that gasoline vehicle and I had a diesel vehicle. So let's say I was going to get rid of vehicle 1 and I was going to buy a more efficient alternative vehicle that uses 50 miles per gallon. Maybe I'll even, oh, it looks like I can't change this, can I? Nope. I'm still going to drive it the same amount. Okay. Alternative fuel will cost $2 per gallon. I think these are put in for me. Alrighty, so let's, okay, so I'm going to select this. I'm going to say I pledge to do this. Okay, so I don't know if you caught that, but my numbers here changed a little bit. So I pledged to do this. So what you can do is you can go through and it also will tell you how many tons of CO2 equivalent you've saved, how many dollars you've saved by doing these things, and then also what is that upfront cost. So you could play with this and you can go through and you can carpool to work or something. You can fill out this information, and once you pledge to do them, then it will change your impact. It will reduce your impact. You can also go through and you can say, I've already done this. I already do this. So, and what this will do is this will save your information. You can make an account. It's kind of fun to go back to this calculator year after year and maybe adjust your numbers and see how you are doing next year. If you go back to some of your actions, see, hey, did I actually practice eco driving? Did I do some of these actions that I selected? So it's a really neat resource, and I hope that this tutorial here gave you a little better idea of how to use this tool. And I hope that you have a lot of fun and learn about some actions that you can take to reduce your greenhouse gas emissions and reduce your impact. All right. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a great day. Bye bye.